but more importantly, thank you for your work.
Yes! Yes! Oh my God!
Start with gratitude for all you have done. You know, the artistry that has created and made narrative and form for us through costume and films that I know we all love and find so resonant.
Well, first, let me thank you all for coming. What a nice turnout. I'm just really overwhelmed with joy that I see so many familiar faces, and I feel like you're all familiar faces to me. This is my culture here. This is what we've been doing all these years, and it's wonderful that the Black Panther allowed this platform. Now we can really look at the body of work, you know, and I'm proud of it. You know, we can take the Black Panther film and look at the body of work and say, yes, there's a voice.
What inspires your work? You know, what I have always taken from your work is the way in which it is so resonant, right? That it allows us through costume to understand a moment, a place, right? A person's way of living in the world. And you've created, you know, working collaboratively with directors, a sense of being, right? A sense of presence. So where does that inspiration come from?
Well, I told you I love history, and I'm inspired by the people. And I know, like when I worked with Ava DuVernay on Selma, there were so many experiences there with the real descendants of the marchers. And you know, we're well into creating the look, but this one particular time was very inspiring when we were sitting around similar to this in a big scene where the marchers were going to march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and people started giving testimonies about what they remembered. Wow. And what their family was like when they lived in Selma. So, you know, hearing those voices of the ancestors, if you would, kind of speak to you and make you want to be authentic in your approach to everything. You know, it makes you unbutton or unbutton someone up. It makes you, you know, in Rosewood with Don Cheadle, and you know, that's the story of a real place in Florida. You know, yes, and the descendants again were part of the crew. I mean, not part of the crew, part of a scene. And they gave testimony about, you know, what they remembered as children growing up in that little country place. Wow. So I feel a great responsibility to what I do. I feel that I'm responsible for my family and my ancestors and yours too. And, you know, when I saw Lady Sings the Blues, I mean, I love that film. Yes. But that ain't Billie Holiday. Yeah. Love the film. She did an amazing, Diana Ross, you know, hands down, you know. But when I finally did listen to the music of Billie Holiday, I was like, wow, that's rich. Yeah. That's really something. And I could feel more behind the voice in her sound. So, you know, we're talking about music here, and music does, you know, have so many layers, and you hear a lot. When you listen to hip hop, you're gonna hear you're gonna hear the tennis shoes. But when you listen to jazz, you're gonna see the suspenders and the hats. So that's how music inspires me, and that's how history inspires me. And I've always just had an affinity for it.
And it seems that in thinking about the many directors you work with, Spike Lee, of course, but so many others, you have often worked between films that are historically based in fact, but also in situations where you've created, through costume, a sense of fact. And it feels that has also been a place where your work has been incredibly politically driven, right? To create images.
Yeah, you mean like Chirac?
Yeah.
Yeah, lock it up. And do the right thing.
That's right. Yeah. That's what I was really
modern picture. Do the right thing. You know, I gotta give Marcy some props. He's here today. Marcy did Black Klansman. Because we're talking about Spike, I gotta bring in the family. Right. But when I watched Black Klansman, I saw the Spike that I knew and loved through not only the beautiful costumes, but through the casting, the performances, everything. And it's really the heart and soul of what it means to work with Spike Lee and what it means to want to make a change and want to stand for something like Spike don't play. And when you work with him, you better come strong and come with it.
Every day.
Every day. Another Spike Lee family member back there, knowing the truth. So when you do, I mean, I've done commercial things, you know, nobody saw Keeping Up with the Joneses. See, told you. And that was contemporary. So we got to cut our teeth on something, you know, I'm a professional, I got to pay the rent.
So we are talking about how music inspires your work. Can you tell us a story about a song that has inspired your work and how and what that has meant to the work you've made?
Yes. Okay. So I've been thinking about this. I chose Tandiswa, Jikikela. Jikikela. Tandiswa, she's South African. And I chose it because the day that we were doing our big photo shoot on the Black Panther, it was the first time we had Zuri and Killmonger, Black Panther, and Ramonda, and Shuri, and Okoye, and Wakabe, all together, dressed all together. I mean, they did the Warrior Falls, but this was, you know, I got to choose what they would wear. So some of them, the Queen changed out into something different. You saw, it was a Newsweek exclusive of the royal photo. And we had costumers that day, all coming in, and, you know, somebody, the photographer, was choosing the music, and he was like playing, I don't know, something. I don't even remember it. And I was like looking around like, does anybody see what I see here? Like, these people are presenting royalty, Afrofuture. I mean, I'm telling you, I wanted to, you know, do that happy church, happy dance, but I was at work.
Right.
So I looked at the publicist that had flown in from California, and she was like, you know, hey, I'll be talking to you. And I'm like, you'll be talking to me? When? Talk now, look. No one really got it until Okoye changed the music to Tendiswa. And then that African drum came in, and her voice and her diction and her sound and what it was about, protest, you know, it just was overwhelming to me. And I knew then that the Black Panther was something we had done that was really going to be beloved by everyone.
Amazing. So why don't we listen to it now on the Sonos Beam?
Just be gangster with it, okay?
Yeah, so Okoye was doing singles. She took her position on the seamless paper, and she started doing that spear, and she was in her Dora costume, and it tears me up to even hear this.
I'm so thrilled to be this close to these two costumes. Yeah. So, can you talk to us about both of them?
Well, you couldn't get a Panther suit because, you know, they're doing reshoots, and all those Avenger movies keep going on and on and on. So I asked them to send the Killmonger suit here. And this is Killmonger. He's got his scars, you know, scarification. And he has his gold, because you remember in the film that Shuri gives T'Challa a choice of necklaces, and first he chooses this one, and then he goes, oh, maybe I'll go opt for the simpler one. So Killmonger gets this suit. It has a leopard skin that's gold underneath. It's his muscle suit that's underneath it, and it's made of Euro jersey. And this Euro jersey, we get it. It's a two-way stretch or four-way stretch, whatever you call it. And it comes in white. It's white. We have to dye it. Then we print on top of it. there's a sculpt made of the muscles, and I get to check the sculpt out. Yes. And the funny thing, there's a lot of people that wear it. He has a martial arts double, he has a photo double, a second unit double. So the shoes inside change. So the karate guy wants a boxing shoe, and Michael B. Jordan. I mean, don't get crazy, ladies, but he wants the Nike. And so we have to always adjust the foot and how the skin goes over the shoe. It's a big deal because usually on set it doesn't look this streamlined. It looks really bulky and awful, and then in post they shrink it. Same with the helmet. That seems to be a very small one, but usually the helmet is a bigger one. The front of the nose and mouth come off so they can actually breathe, heavy, doing all that action. And in post, the visual effects department, they put it right back on. And over here we have Wakabe. This is Daniel Kalula's costume, complete with on the right side there's a Lesotho blanket. You can barely see it.
Yeah.
On the left is the blue blanket, and it has the Wakandan language and some Nsibidi printed on it as well. We had a real issue with the blankets. The blankets came from South Africa, from the Lesotho people, and they were thick. A heavy pile, and we had to put the vibranium on them. The silver that you see on the blankets is vibranium, the strongest metal known to man, strongest substance. You only find it in Wakanda, and Wakanda is not real. So anyway, Marvel said about 2 weeks before we started shooting that the blankets were too thick and I couldn't use them. And I had 250 of them.
Oh, wow.
All imported, that ain't cheap. And it was Christmas break, and 3 of us decided no Christmas this year. So one of my assistants said, let me go get a shaver, like a man's shaver. And so she flipped one blanket on a table. She started shaving it.
Oh, wow.
It took her about 2 hours just to do one side. 200 blankets, that was too long. And then another assistant came and said, I think let me burn a piece of this. I think there's 2 fibers in it, a natural fiber and a synthetic. I'm going to torch them. So we burned them.
Wow.
We burned them, and that's what made them thin, and they were much more supple, but they smelled high heaven.
Wow.
Wow.
Such a treat to get to see them,
Yes.
and hear it. So I think at this moment, I know you all have questions.
Yes.
So we are going to open it to the audience for question. There's a microphone right here. So if you all might make yourself, there you go. First question, right here.
Hey, hello. So my name is Alicia Reese. We met at Essence, and you actually just came from Ohio with my mentor, Sonny Jackson Miles. So it is so amazing to see you here. But my question for you is this. So you have done every type of film. Comedies, dramas, Black Panther is its own everything. What would you say has been your favorite type of genre to design for?
It's hard to say because I love a challenge. So I don't want to, say, I love to do the 20s because then somebody's going to say, hey, I got a 20s film, you want to do it? So I love the discovery of finding out about people. So it really doesn't matter what era it is. Because people are kind of all the same, I can look at someone in our film I've done that's the 40s and say, that's just like Uncle Charlie, who is the 80s, So I would say in terms of favorites, I always have to kind of cleanse my palate. I feel like Lupita asked me, well, are you going to do the second one like on the last day of the first one? And I said, no. No, I said, of course I would love to. No, I said, no, I'm tired. No, I would love to do another Black Panther.
It wouldn't be the same without you. You're a part of the story.
Thank you. I'm just joking when I say no. I just said, I'm just joking. Joking. So yeah, no, I would love to do another one, and I just like a challenge. So if you tell me about something new and I haven't done, that's my favorite. All of a sudden.
Baby, this is what you came for. Lightning strikes every time she